Welcome to Soul Path Alchemy, the place where we talk about the things most people avoid: sex, relationships, grief, desire, betrayal, healing, and everything in between. It's honest, it's unsanitized, and if it's what you've been craving, you're in the right place. I'm Annie O'Brien, psychotherapist, clinical hypnotherapist, and if you need more info, it's all in the bio. Let's begin. Heads up, this podcast isn't therapy. It's bold, blunt, and irreverent, but it's not a substitute for professional help. Full disclaimer is in the blurb below. Okay, on today's Freud Made Me Do It, we're going to talk introjection. The voice in your head isn't you, it's the ghost you couldn't argue with. Who told you that? Oh right, you swallowed it whole. Introjection and the birth of your inner critic. If you've ever caught yourself saying, I should be further along by now, or no one likes someone who needs too much, pause. That voice, it might not be yours. It might be your mother, your religion, your childhood teacher, or the guy who told you at 13 that you were too loud. Welcome to Introjection, the defense mechanism where you swallow someone else's opinion whole and call it a personality. So what is introjection really? Introjection is what happens when a belief or voice from outside of you gets absorbed and mistaken for your own. It's not the same as influence or wisdom. This is psychological identity theft, plain and simple. It was first coined by Freud. Introjection develops in early life as a way of staying safe and attached to caregivers. You mimic, internalize, and obey because you had to. Love and survival depended on it. But here you are at 34, still flinching at imaginary disapproval and calling it standards. Let's have a look at some examples. Take the woman who thinks she's unlovable. Every relationship ends and she blames herself. She says, I'm just too much. But that line, her father said it first when she cried at 6 years of age. So this is introjection. She has internalized his shame and made it her script. Or then you have the person who cannot rest. They feel they have to earn their place, prove their worth, keep going. Their body could be exhausted, but in their head they hear, don't be lazy. Whose voice is that? Perhaps a father, a teacher, a mother. Either way, it doesn't belong to the person. Then you could have a person who cannot cry. Perhaps they joke all the time, shut down, keep it all in, not because they don't feel, but because a long time ago someone said, do not cry. Crying is for sissies. The introjection could be misogyny as emotional cement. Or you could have the guy who cannot say no. He's really agreeable, totally accommodating, such a nice, good guy, but he's furious inside. The belief, nice people don't make a fuss. Where did that come from? Perhaps his mum, or perhaps from church. And now he's in therapy wondering why he can't say what he wants. So every day this comes up for everyone. You might think you're bad with money, but it may be your dad's voice calling you irresponsible for buying ice cream when you were 7 with the last of your pocket money. You may feel guilty for setting boundaries. It might be your grandmother whispering, don't upset people. Perhaps you won't speak up in meetings. It could be a leftover school teacher who said, don't show off. All of this is introjection, other people's voices wearing your clothes. And why should you care? Because you're dragging an entire cast of ghosts into every decision you make and calling it your truth. Introjection is the puppet master of our shame. We can't self-actualize if our thoughts are on loan. And healing begins the moment we ask, whose voice is this? So how do we change it? Well, notice the voice. When you hear an inner criticism, pause and ask, who does that remind me of? Whose voice is that? Who would have said similar things to me previously? And then name the source. If it's not yours, name it: mum, dad, coach, teacher, society, clergy person, whoever. And then reclaim your reality. Replace it with a truth that aligns with your present values. For example, no, I'm not lazy, I'm tired and I deserve to rest right now. Remember, you can't heal if you're loyal to voices that harmed you, even if they were unaware and never meant to. Introjection is swallowing someone else's judgment and wondering why you've got spiritual acid reflux. If this episode helped you catch a voice that was never yours, good, spit it out. Journal, reflect, work on yourself. Allow yourself to find the true you and alchemize, transforming one day at a time. Thanks for listening to Soul Path Alchemy. I'm Annie. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.